I have no name. In the pack records, the space beside my birth date is an empty line, a testament to my worthlessness. They call me Omega, or sometimes just Shadow, because I have learned to move along the edges of life unseen. I am the pack's ghost, a reminder of a weak bloodline, a wolfless anomaly in a world defined by the beast within. My existence is a whisper of cold stone corridors, the sharp, acrid scent of lye from the laundry, and the dull, persistent ache of loneliness. My wolf is a silent, hollow space inside me, an empty room where a primal heartbeat should be. Without her, I am incomplete, a flawed creation. Without her, I am nothing. Tonight, the air is thick with anticipation, and the cloying scent of nervous sweat mixed with pine from the ceremonial fires. It is the night of the Alpha King's choosing. King Kalen of the Silver Moon Dominion is seeking his mate, his Luna, to rule by his side. Every unmated female of age is assembled in the great hall, their silks rustling, their inner wolves preening and pacing. I am here not as a candidate, but as a servant, tasked with refilling wine goblets and remaining invisible. It is a task I have perfected over 18 years. I keep my head down, my gaze fixed on the flagstones as I move through the throng. The scents are a dizzying assault. The peppery aggression of the enforcers, the sweet floral notes of the hopeful females, the earthy musk of the pack elders. But then, a new scent cuts through the chaos, silencing every other fragrance in the hall. It is the scent of a winter forest after a storm, sharp with pine, cold with the promise of frost, and underscored by the raw power of ozone. It is him, Alpha King Kalen. My heart stutters, a frantic bird beating against the cage of my ribs. I have never been this close to him. He is a legend, a force of nature who united the warring packs of the North. I risk a glance from beneath my lashes. He is everything the stories claim. A giant of a man with shoulders broad enough to carry the weight of a kingdom, and eyes the color of a frozen lake. His power radiates from him in palpable waves, a pressure that makes the very air crackle. He moves with a predator's grace, his gaze sweeping over the assembled females with an imperious boredom. Then, his eyes land on me. The world stops. The noise of the hall fades to a distant hum. The scent of pine and frost slams into me, a physical blow that steals the breath from my lungs. It is not just a scent. It is a declaration, a claim. A lightning bolt of pure energy arcs between us, and the empty room inside my chest, the silent space where my wolf should be, suddenly ignites with a searing, silver flame. A voice I have never heard before, a voice that is mine and yet not mine, screams a single, possessive word in the confines of my soul. Mate, hope, a thing I learned to starve long ago, unfurls within me, beautiful and terrifying. His frozen eyes widen, the boredom replaced by sheer, undiluted shock. His nostrils flare, and I know he feels it too. The fates, in their infinite cruel wisdom, have bound me, the nameless, wolfless Omega, to the most powerful Alpha in the world. For a single, breathless moment, I see a future beyond the laundry rooms and the shadows. I see a life where I am not invisible, a life where I am seen, wanted, cherished. King Kalen takes a step toward me, his powerful body rigid with disbelief. The pack holds its breath, the silence in the great hall absolute. Every eye is on us, on him, their formidable king, and on me, the girl who is less than nothing. His face is a mask of conflict, his mind clearly at war with the primal certainty of his inner beast. I can feel the pull of the bond, a living thread of silver light tugging me toward him, demanding I close the distance. I stand frozen, clutching my tray of goblets, my knuckles white. He stalks forward until he towers over me. The scent of him is intoxicating, a promise of safety and belonging I have craved my entire life. He lowers his head, his face just inches from mine, and inhales deeply. A low growl rumbles in his chest, a sound of pure, possessive instinct. My own non-existent wolf purrs in response, a vibration of pure bliss that shudders through me. Hours, she whispers. But then I see the logic return to his eyes, the cold calculation of a king. He sees my threadbare servant's dress, the smudge of soot on my cheek, the way I flinch under his scrutiny. He sees not his mate, but a political disaster, an omega, a wolfless whelp, an unacceptable weakness. His features harden into a mask of cruel disdain. The warmth that had begun to bloom in his eyes vanishes, replaced by ice. He straightens to his full, intimidating height and turns to address the silent, watching pack. His voice is not the intimate growl of a male who has found his other half. It is the booming, merciless voice of a king passing sentence. "This cannot be," he declares, his words like shards of glass. He does not look at me, but at the assembly, as if I am an object to be discussed, not a person to be addressed. The moon goddess has erred. I, King Kalen of the Silver Moon Dominion, cannot be mated to this. He gestures vaguely in my direction, a flick of his wrist filled with contempt. A wave of murmurs ripples through the crowd. The thread of our bond, once a thing of shimmering beauty, now feels like a razor wire, and his disgust travels along it, slicing into my soul. The pain is physical, a white-hot agony that erupts in my chest, worse than any beating I have ever endured. "She is wolfless," he continues, his voice ringing with authority and finality. "She is a nameless omega, a flaw in the bloodline. She has no strength, no standing. She is not fit to be a pack member, let alone a Luna." Each word is a hammer blow, shattering the fragile hope that had dared to take root in my heart. The silver flame inside me sputters, choked by his contempt. He finally turns his gaze back to me, and there is no conflict left in his eyes, only a cold, hard certainty. He looks through me as if I am already gone. "I, Alpha King Kalen," he proclaims, his voice echoing off the stone walls, "do hereby reject you as my mate." The world fractures. The razor wire of the bond snaps, and the sound of it is a scream that only I can hear. The pain is blinding, a supernova of anguish that rips through my very essence. It feels as if he has reached into my chest and torn out my soul with his bare hands. I drop the tray, the goblet shattering on the stone floor, the sound lost in the sudden, cruel roar of laughter from the pack. They laugh at my pain, at my humiliation, at the king's brutal dismissal of the fate's will. My knees buckle, and I fall to the floor amidst the broken glass and spilled wine. I cannot breathe. The scent of pine and frost is now the scent of my own personal hell, a fragrance forever tied to the moment my world ended. Through a haze of tears, I look up at him, my king, my mate, the executioner of my soul. He watches me, his face an unreadable mask of stone, before turning his back on me and walking away, leaving me broken on the floor of his great hall. The king's judgment is swift and absolute. Exile. I am no longer just an outcast within the pack. I am cast out entirely. Two of his enforcers, their faces impassive, drag me from the hall. They do not speak to me. They handle me like a sack of refuse to be discarded. The pain of the rejected bond is a living thing, a clawed beast savaging me from the inside out. Every breath is a fresh torment, a reminder of the connection he severed. They haul me to the edge of the territory, to the border of the whispering woods, a place forbidden and feared. It is a cursed, ancient forest from which no one who enters ever returns. It is a death sentence delivered without the mercy of a quick blade. "The king's decree," one of the enforcers grunts, shoving me forward. I stumble, my bare feet landing on the damp, cold earth at the forest's edge. "You are no longer of the Silvermoon Pack. Do not return." They turn and leave without a backward glance. I am alone, facing a wall of gnarled, black trees that seem to drink the moonlight. A cold wind sighs through the branches, carrying with it whispers that sound like forgotten names. The forest smells of damp soil, decaying leaves, and something else, something ancient and wild. The pain in my chest is a constant, nauseating throb. The emptiness where the bond used to be is a gaping, bleeding wound. For a long time, I just stand there, shivering in my thin dress, the laughter of the pack still ringing in my ears. Despair is a heavy cloak, threatening to smother me. It would be so easy to lie down and let the cold take me, to simply cease to exist. That is what he wants. It is what they all want. A nameless, wolfless Omega, erased from the world. But as the cold seeps into my bones, something else stirs within me. It is not the silver flame of the bond that has been reduced to a flickering ember of agony. This is something different. It is a tiny, stubborn spark of defiance. He called me weak. He called me nothing. He threw me away to die. A bitter, unfamiliar anger begins to curdle my grief. I will not give him the satisfaction. I will not die. I take a deep breath, the forest air sharp and clean in my lungs, and force my trembling legs to move. I take one step into the whispering woods, then another. The darkness swallows me whole. But for the first time in my life, I am not running from the shadows. I am walking into them. My life as the pack's ghost is over. If I am to survive, I must become something else entirely. The choice is made not in hope, but in pure, spiteful refusal to be broken completely. I will live, if only to prove him wrong. 3 years passed. The Whispering Woods did not kill me. It remade me. The first year was a brutal lesson in survival. I learned which berries were poison and which roots held water. I learned to build shelters from fallen branches, and to move as silently as the mist that coiled around the ancient trees. The constant, gnawing ache of the broken bond never truly faded, but it settled deep into my bones, a cold companion that I learned to live with. It was a scar on my soul, a permanent reminder of my unworthiness. The whispers of the woods were not menacing, as the legends claimed. They were voices, ancient and faint, the memories of the forest itself. In my second year, I learned to listen. I followed the whispers to the heart of the woods, to a hidden clearing where a circle of monolithic stones stood sentinel around a shimmering, moon-fed pool. It was a place of immense power, a forgotten moon shrine. The air here hummed with a quiet, silver energy that soothed the frayed edges of my spirit. It was here that I discovered the truth. As I knelt by the water's edge, my reflection was not just my own. For a fleeting moment, I saw another face superimposed over mine, a woman with eyes of liquid silver and a circlet of moonlight on her brow. The hollow space inside me, the place my wolf should have been, resonated with the power of the shrine. It was not empty. It had been dormant. I am not wolfless. I am something else, something older. The whispers told me of the lunar matriarchs, the first shifters who drew their power not from a beast within, but from the moon itself. Their magic was one of light and shadow, of healing and prophecy. They were betrayed and their bloodlines scattered, their power suppressed by the ascendant wolf packs who feared what they could not control. I am the last of them. My beast is not a wolf. It is the raw, untamed magic of the moon, waiting to be awakened. In my third year, I learned to wield it. I trained my body until it was hard and lean, my senses honed to a razor's edge. I let the power of the moon shrine flow into me, teaching me its secrets. I can draw shadows around me like a cloak, command the mists to conceal my path, and weave strands of moonlight into shields of solid energy. The girl who flinched at every harsh word is gone. The nameless Omega is dead. In her place stands the guardian of this forest, a creature of myth and whispers. The villagers on the borderlands, the ones my old pack shuns, have given me a name. They call me Alara, the Lady of the Woods. They bring offerings of bread and salt to the forest's edge, and in return, I protect them from the darker things that stir in the deep woods. I have found a purpose. I have found a name. I have built a life from the ashes of the one that was stolen from me. I am alone, but I am not lonely. I am scarred, but I am not broken. I am powerful, and I no longer need anyone. The first hint of trouble comes as a corruption on the wind, a scent of decay and malice that chokes the clean, earthy fragrance of my forest. It is a wrongness, a creeping blight that makes the trees themselves recoil. Then come the creatures. They are hounds forged from nightmare and shadow, with teeth of obsidian and eyes that burn with a malevolent green fire. The villagers call them Umbra hounds. They are fast, vicious, and they hunt in packs, their howls echoing with a chilling hunger that is not of this world. I fight them. I use my light to burn their shadow flesh, my knowledge of the woods to set traps and lead them to their destruction. But for every one I destroy, two more seem to rise from the blighted soil. They are a tide of darkness, and they are pushing relentlessly toward the borders of the Whispering Woods, toward the lands of the Silver Moon Dominion, toward the man who exiled me. It is on a cool, damp evening that I meet Lysander. I find him near the forest's edge, his leg caught in a crude snare, one of the few traps I did not set. An Umbra hound circles him, its shadowy form slavering. He is human, a healer from the border village, his scent clean and blessedly simple, smelling of mint, chamomile, and antiseptic herbs. There is no scent of wolf on him, no oppressive aura of dominance. I dispatch the hound with an arrow of pure moonlight, which dissolves the creature into a puff of foul-smelling smoke. He stares at me, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and awe. I am a fearsome sight. Clad in hardened leather, I tanned myself, my silver hair unbound, my eyes glowing with a faint luminescence in the twilight. You are the Lady of the Woods, he breathes, his voice filled with reverence. I say nothing, merely cutting him free from the snare. His leg is badly gashed. I kneel, my hands hovering over the wound. A soft, silver light flows from my palms, knitting the torn flesh back together, leaving behind only a thin, white scar. He watches, speechless. He does not flinch from my power. He does not see me as a flaw or an abomination. He sees me as a miracle. Thank you, he says, his voice soft. My name is Lysander. Over the next few months, Lysander becomes a regular visitor to the edge of my woods. He brings me news from the villages, poultices for my injuries, and stories of the world outside my sanctuary. He is kind, patient, and his presence is a gentle balm on my scarred soul. He asks for nothing, and he treats me with a quiet respect that is more precious than any jewel. He looks at me and sees Ilara, not an Omega, not a monster, not a king's rejected mate. He sees me. With him, I feel a quiet contentment, a vision of a peaceful life I never thought possible. A life without the searing pain of a mate bond, without the crushing weight of pack politics. A safe life. It is a tempting thought. But the Umbra hounds grow more numerous, more daring. Lysander tells me the packs are in turmoil. The hounds are too strong, their shadow nature making them resistant to tooth and claw. He tells me the great Alpha King Kalen is leading the fight, but his pack suffers heavy losses. He says the king himself seems diminished, as if some light within him has gone out. I feel a grim, bitter satisfaction at the news. Good. Let him suffer. It is a fraction of the agony he inflicted upon me. The encroaching darkness is his problem, not mine. I have my own domain to protect. I am wrong. The darkness is coming for us all. My wolf is dying. No, that is not right. He is killing me, slowly. For 3 years, Lycos has been a relentless torment inside my skull. He is the voice of my own failure, the constant, snarling reminder of what I threw away. In the beginning, it was a cold fury. Fool! You rejected our other half. Now it is a hollow, aching grief that has settled into my bones, a permanent chill that no fire can warm. Mate is gone. We are alone. We will freeze. I cannot sleep. When I close my eyes, I see her face as she fell to the floor, her eyes wide with a pain so profound it should have stopped my heart. I see the single tear that traced a path through the soot on her cheek. I smell the cloying sweetness of spilled wine and the sharp, metallic tang of her blood from the broken glass. The memory is seared into my mind, a brand of my own making. I told myself it was for the good of the pack. The Dominion needed a strong Luna, a pure-blooded alpha female to bear powerful heirs. An Omega, wolfless and without a name, was a liability, a weakness my enemies would exploit. It was a king's decision, logical and necessary. My mind knew this. My wolf, my soul, knew it was a lie. It was pride. It was fear. I was a coward, afraid of the monumental, terrifying love I felt for her in that one perfect moment the bond snapped into place. A love that felt bigger than my crown, bigger than my duty. It terrified me. So I destroyed it. And in doing so, I have been destroying myself. The pack sees a king who is strong, resolute, leading them against this new shadow menace. They do not see the man who retches in private, unable to keep food down. They do not see the king who stares at his empty bed, haunted by the scent of rain and wildflowers that no one else can smell. My advisors press me to choose another mate, to solidify my reign. The thought is repulsive, the idea of touching another female when my mate is out there somewhere. It makes Lycos rage, a frantic, desperate beast clawing at the inside of my skin. Only her. No other. You will have no one. And now the Umbra hounds. These creatures of shadow are a plague upon our lands. My best warriors fall, their claws and teeth passing through the beasts as if through smoke. They are a physical manifestation of the darkness that has taken root in my own soul. We track them, we fight them, but we cannot find their source. Our seers say they originate from a place of great power, deep within the forbidden whispering woods, the place I sent her to die. The irony is a blade twisting in my gut. I must now lead my war party into the one place on this earth I never wanted to see again, the place that serves as a monument to my greatest sin. I must venture into her grave to save my kingdom. Perhaps it is fitting. Perhaps I will find my own end there, a just punishment for my crime. Lycos is quiet for once, a sullen, defeated weight in my chest. He knows where we are going. He knows we will not find her. He believes she is long dead, and that we are merely marching toward our own deserved doom. I cannot bring myself to disagree. The Whispering Woods are even darker than the legends claim. The air is heavy, oppressive, and the silence is a living thing. The scent of rot and old magic clings to everything. My warriors are on edge, their wolves restless and whining. This place feels wrong, hostile to our kind. We have been tracking a large pack of Umbra hounds for 2 days, deeper into the forest's suffocating embrace. The trail leads us to a small, misty clearing, and that is when I smell it. Beneath the stench of decay, beneath the damp earth and wet leaves, there is another scent: rain and wildflowers. Faint, ghostly, but unmistakable. My heart stops. Lycos, who has been dormant with grief, surges to life with a desperate, disbelieving howl in my mind. Mate, it cannot be. She is dead. This is a trick of my tormented mind, a phantom scent conjured by my own guilt. But then, the Umbra hounds attack. They pour from the trees, a tide of animated darkness, their green eyes burning. We are outnumbered, surrounded. We form a circle, back to back, my warriors shifting into their massive wolf forms. Claws and teeth meet shadow, and for a moment, we hold them back. But they are relentless. One of my best enforcers, Darius, goes down, a shadow hound's jaws clamped on his shoulder, its unnatural coldness seeping into him, draining his life. Despair begins to set in. This is it. This is where we die. And then a new presence enters the clearing. A figure emerges from the mist, moving with a silent grace that is neither wolf nor human. She is tall and slender, clad in dark leathers, with a cascade of silver hair that seems to gather the dim light. The scent of rain and wildflowers explodes from her, 1,000 times stronger than the ghost I have been chasing, now infused with something more. Something powerful and wild, like moonlight and ancient stone. It is her. She is alive. My mind struggles to reconcile the image of the trembling, broken Omega I exiled with the formidable, ethereal being who stands before me now. Her face is the same, yet utterly different. The fear is gone, replaced by a cold, sharp-edged confidence. Her eyes, the color of a summer sky, now hold the chilling light of a distant star. They sweep over the scene, over my embattled warriors, over me, and they hold no recognition, no pain, nothing, just a flat, cold assessment. The broken bond between us, that dead and empty thing, suddenly shrieks back to life. It is not the gentle pull of fate it once was. It is a cable of pure agony, a searing current of her accumulated pain and my suffocating guilt arcing between us. I stagger back, clutching my chest, the pain so intense it brings me to my knees. Through the haze of my own torment, I see her expression flicker for a barest second. She feels it too. A muscle in her jaw tightens, her only concession to the shock. She raises a hand. She speaks no word, but the air itself hums, vibrating with a power that makes the fur on my arms stand on end. A blinding spear of silver light erupts from her palm, striking the hound on Darius. The creature dissolves with a piercing shriek, vanishing into nothingness. She moves then, a whirlwind of deadly grace. She is not fighting like a wolf with brute strength. She is a weaver of light and shadow. She plucks arrows of moonlight from the air and sends them flying, each one finding its mark, each one disintegrating an Umbra hound. She raises a hand, and a wall of shimmering force erupts from the ground, shielding my warriors. She is magnificent. She is terrifying. And she is a complete stranger. In moments, the clearing is silent, littered with dissipating wisps of shadow. My warriors, panting in their half-shifted forms, stare at her with awe and fear. She stands in the center of the clearing, her chest rising and falling evenly, not even out of breath. Her cold eyes finally settle on me, kneeling on the ground, wounded not by the hounds, but by the violent reignition of our bond. Alpha King Kalen, she says. Her voice is not the timid whisper I remember. It is clear and cold as a mountain stream, and it holds a chilling authority. The way she says my name is an insult, devoid of any warmth or connection. You are trespassing. Lycos is howling, screaming, clawing at me from the inside. Mate, ours! Claim her! Apologize! Beg! But my tongue is lead in my mouth. What can I say? I am sorry I tried to destroy you. Thank you for not dying in the God's forsaken forest I threw you into. Thank you for saving me and my men from the monsters I could not defeat. We were tracking the Umbra hounds. I managed to grit out, forcing myself to my feet. I tried to project the authority of a king, but I feel like a supplicant. My entire being is screaming at me to go to her, to touch her, to fall at her feet. They are a plague on these lands. They are a plague on my lands. She corrects me, her tone glacial. And you have led them deeper into my territory. You are a liability. My warriors bristle at her tone, their protective growls rumbling in their chests. I silence them with a sharp gesture. They do not understand. They see an unknown woman insulting their king. I see the living embodiment of my own damnation. I see the woman who should be my Luna, more powerful than I could have ever imagined, looking at me with the detached interest one might give an insect. We must form an alliance, I say, the words tasting like ash. This threat is greater than either of us. We need to find their source. A bitter, humorless smile touches her lips for a fleeting moment. An alliance, she repeats, the word dripping with scorn. You want an alliance with the wolfless Omega you cast out? The flaw in the bloodline you deemed unfit to even be a pack member? I think not. Her words, my own words, thrown back at me, are more painful than any physical blow. She remembers every syllable. She has carried them with her for 3 years. They are the foundation upon which she has built this new, unbreakable self. People can be wrong, I say, my voice hoarse. I was wrong. Wrong does not begin to cover it, King Kalen, she says, turning her back on me. Heal your men and leave my forest. If you cannot control the darkness in your own kingdom, do not bring it to my doorstep. She begins to walk away, melting back into the mists from which she came. Panic, cold and absolute, seizes me. I cannot let her go. Not again. Wait! I call out, my voice cracking with a desperation I cannot conceal. Please! Alara! I do not know where the name comes from. It just appears on my tongue, a name I have somehow always known. She freezes, her back still to me. For a long moment, she is utterly still. When she finally turns, the cold mask is gone. for a single, shattering instant, I see the girl from the great hall in her eyes, an endless ocean of pain and betrayal. The sight guts me. "Do not," she whispers, her voice shaking with a sudden raw fury. "Use that name." Then she is gone, swallowed by the forest, leaving me alone with the scent of rain and wildflowers and the echoing agony of my own monumental, unforgivable mistake. We do not leave the forest. I cannot. Leaving would mean accepting that she is lost to me forever, and that is a fate I refuse to endure. I order my men to make camp in the clearing, a decision that borders on insubordination. They grumble, but they obey. We are in her territory now, under her power, and the knowledge is both humiliating and strangely thrilling. I am no longer a king here. I am an intruder, begging for an audience. She watches us. I cannot see her, but I feel her presence everywhere. In the way the shadows lengthen, in the rustle of leaves that sounds like a sigh, in the silver moonlight that seems to fall only on her side of the forest. The air crackles with our unresolved tension, the broken bond between us a raw, open wound that refuses to close. 2 days pass in this state of unbearable proximity. I try to approach the edges of the clearing, to call out to her, but the forest itself seems to turn against me. Roots snake up to trip my feet, and low-hanging branches seem to slap at my face. It is her power, her control. She has made this forest her fortress, and I am locked outside its walls. On the third day, another scent joins the fray. It is clean and human, smelling of herbs and kindness. A man emerges from the woods, walking with an easy familiarity that makes my blood boil. He is tall and fair-haired, and he carries a basket. He walks directly to the edge of the clearing where the mists are thickest, as if to a prearranged meeting spot. "Ilara?" he calls out, his voice gentle. She materializes from the mist to greet him, and the sight is a dagger to my heart. The cold, formidable warrior I saw is gone. In her place is a softer version, a woman who offers this man a small, genuine smile. It is a smile I have never seen, a smile I would kill to earn. He hands her the basket, and his fingers brush against hers. She does not pull away. Lekos goes berserk within me. Ours. He touches what is ours. Kill him. Take her back. My hands clench into fists, my claws threatening to extend. I am a king, a warrior who has slain countless enemies, and I am undone by the sight of a simple, human healer touching my mate's hand. The jealousy is a physical poison, hot and acidic, burning through my veins. This man, Lysander, represents everything I am not. He is gentle, where I was cruel. He is patient, where I was rash. He has offered her kindness, while I offered her only humiliation. He has earned her smiles, while I have earned only her contempt. He is the living proof that she can be happy, can be cared for, without me. The thought is unbearable. I watch them talk, their heads close together. I cannot hear their words, but their body language speaks volumes. There is an ease between them, a comfortable affection. He is her friend. Perhaps he is more. The thought sends another wave of savage jealousy through me. He looks at her with an open adoration that I was too proud and too foolish to show. He sees the goddess she has become, and he is not afraid. This is my punishment, to watch another man be worthy of the woman I threw away, to see the life she could have, a life of peace and gentleness, and to know that I can only offer her a world of conflict and pain, tied to a man who broke her soul. I can't stand it. I start to walk toward them, my movements stiff with rage and despair. My warriors watch me, their expressions worried. They have never seen their alpha so undone. Ilara senses my approach. Her head snaps up, and the soft smile vanishes, replaced instantly by the cold mask she reserves for me. She says something to the healer, who glances over at me with a wary expression before nodding and retreating back into the woods. She turns to face me, her arms crossed, her stance a clear barrier. "I told you to leave," she says, her voice flat. "I cannot," I say, stopping a respectful distance away. "Not until you listen." "I have heard enough words from you to last a lifetime," she counters, her eyes like chips of ice. "Words are cheap. You speak of alliances, but you reek of desperation. You are losing your war, and you think I am a weapon you can now wield." "No," I say, shaking my head. The truth of it, the raw, ugly truth, spills out of me. I am losing more than a war. I am losing myself. I have been since the moment I let you go. There has not been a day, not an hour, that I have not regretted what I did. There is a hole inside of me, Ilara, a wound that will not heal because I am the one who inflicted it. I was a fool, a proud, arrogant coward. I expect scorn, anger, another dismissal. Instead, she just watches me, her expression unreadable. The silence stretches, thick with 3 years of unspoken pain. "Your regret does not erase my suffering," she finally says, her voice quiet but firm. "Your pain does not negate mine. You are right. You were a coward, and I have no use for cowards." She turns to leave again, and I know this is my last chance. The words, the pleas, they are not enough. Lycos agrees. "Show her." Words are wind. "Show her." I drop to my knees on the damp, cold earth of her forest, in full view of my own warriors. I, the Alpha King, kneel. It is not a strategic move. It is a complete surrender. I lower my head, baring the back of my neck to her. The ultimate sign of submission in our world. An alpha baring his throat to another is an admission of absolute defeat, an offering of his life. "My life is forfeit," I say, my voice thick with emotion. "It has been yours since the moment I first saw you. I was too blind to see it. Take it if that will grant you peace. Punish me, hate me, but do not be indifferent to me. That I cannot survive." I wait, my heart hammering against my ribs. I can feel her shock, her disbelief. I can feel the gaze of my own men, stunned into silence. I remain kneeling, vulnerable, my life completely in her hands. This is the only truth I have left. My crown, my kingdom, my life, they are all meaningless without her. She is the center of my world, and I am just a fool kneeling at the edge of it, begging to be let back in. I feel his submission, like a shockwave. It travels across the broken bond, a raw outpouring of self-loathing, desperation, and a terrifyingly profound devotion. The sight of the mighty Alpha King Kalen kneeling in the dirt, his throat bared to me, is so utterly unexpected, it steals my breath. My anger, the cold, hard shield I have carried for 3 years, cracks. Beneath it, a treacherous tide of sorrow and a faint, dangerous flicker of the love I thought I had killed begins to stir. My first instinct is to reject it, to tell him to stand up, that his pathetic theatrics mean nothing to me. But it is not theater. I can feel the truth of his surrender. It is real, it is absolute, and it terrifies me. For 3 years, I have been the wronged one, the victim. His actions gave me the moral high ground, a mountain of righteous fury to stand upon. But this changes the landscape. This is not the arrogant king who broke me. This is a broken man, offering me the pieces. Before I can respond, before I can even process the storm of emotions inside me, I sense a familiar presence. Lysander has not gone far. He steps back out from the trees, his kind face etched with concern. He saw the entire exchange. "Ilara," he says softly, his gaze flicking from the kneeling king to me. "Are you all right?" His simple question, his gentle concern, is a stark contrast to the violent, soul-shattering drama unfolding with Kaelin. Lysander represents a path of peace, a quiet life free from the pain of mates and packs and power. Kaelin represents a path of fire and shadow, of a love so powerful it can either build kingdoms or burn them to the ground. I look from Lysander's outstretched hand to Kaelin's bowed head. Kaelin doesn't look up, but I can feel his agony as he senses Lysander's presence, as he hears the gentle care in his voice. It is another turn of the knife for him, and a small, cruel part of me is glad. Lysander takes a step closer. "You don't have to engage with him," he says, his voice low and meant only for me. "Whatever he did to you, you owe him nothing, least of all your forgiveness." He is right. I owe Kaelin nothing. I could walk away right now, leave him kneeling in the mud, and build a life with this good, kind man who has only ever shown me respect. It is the sensible choice, the safe choice. But when I look at Kaelin, I do not just see the man who rejected me. I see the other half of my own soul, crippled by a self-inflicted wound. The bond, however broken, still hums between us. It tells me his pain is as deep as my own. His suffering has been as profound. It is not justice I feel, looking at him now. It is a terrible, wrenching pity, and a dawning understanding that we are two halves of a whole, and we have both been bleeding for 3 years. "Lysander," I say, my voice trembling slightly. I turn to face him fully, forcing myself to look away from the king on the ground. "Thank you for everything. You showed me that I was worthy of kindness when I had forgotten what it felt like." He smiles, a sad, knowing smile. "Anyone who couldn't see your worth was a fool." His eyes drift to Kaelin again. "But I have seen the way you look at him, even when you are trying to hate him. I have seen the way he looks at you. A healer knows a wound that can only be mended by the one who dealt it." He takes a step back, creating a space that is not for him. "I cannot compete with a faded bond, Ilara, no matter how broken. And I would not ask you to choose a quiet life with me when your soul is crying out for a storm. You deserve a love that burns, not one that simply keeps you warm." He gives me a small, dignified bow. "Find your peace, whatever it may be." He turns and walks away, disappearing into the woods for the last time. His exit is graceful, dignified, and it leaves me with a choice that is now stark and unavoidable. There are no more safe harbors. There is only the kneeling king and the abyss of our shared past. I turn back to Kaelin. He has not moved. I walk toward him until I am standing directly in front of him. The scent of pine and frost is thick with regret. I can feel his inner wolf, Lycos, a frantic, pleading presence, begging me for mercy on behalf of his foolish human half. "Get up," I say, my voice soft but firm. He slowly raises his head. His eyes, the color of a frozen lake, are shimmering with unshed tears. The sight of this powerful, proud alpha king brought so low is staggering. He looks at me, his expression raw with hope and fear. "Words are meaningless," I tell him, repeating my earlier sentiment, but this time it holds a different weight. Your submission means nothing if it is only for a moment. Your regret is useless if it does not fuel action. The Umbra Hounds are a manifestation of a greater darkness. Their leader is a being called Lord Malachor. He seeks to corrupt the Moon Shrine, the source of my power. That is why he is here. Understanding dawns on his face. He is the source of the blight. He is the source of everything. I affirm, he is an ancient enemy of my bloodline, an enemy I cannot defeat alone. I offer him not forgiveness, not acceptance, but a temporary truce, an alliance born of necessity. You want to prove you have changed, then prove it. Stand with me, not as a king, not as my mate, but as a warrior. Fight with me to protect this forest and to destroy this darkness. And when it is over, you will leave and never return. It is a cruel offer. I am giving him a sliver of hope, a chance to fight by my side, only to snatch it away at the end. But it is all I can give him right now. My heart is a fortress, and though he has breached the outer walls with his surrender, the gates remain firmly barred. A flicker of pain crosses his face at my final condition, but he quells it immediately. He nods, his expression hardening with a new resolve. I accept your terms. He rises to his feet, no longer a defeated supplicant, but a warrior with a purpose. He is still a king, still powerful, but the arrogance is gone, replaced by a grim determination. The power dynamic between us has been irrevocably altered. He is here on my terms, in my territory, fighting my battle. Then, let's begin, I say, turning toward the heart of the forest. Malachor is waiting. The alliance is a fragile, unspoken thing, a battlefield of its own. We move through the forest together, his warriors and I, a strange and tense procession. They still look at me with a mixture of awe and suspicion, but their king's deference to me is absolute, and so they follow his lead. Kaelin walks beside me, a silent, powerful presence. The air between us is a constant thrum of energy from the bond, a painful reminder of what we are and what we are not. He is disciplined, keeping his distance, his hands clenched at his sides, as if physically restraining himself from reaching for me. He proves his worth not with words, but with action. During a skirmish with a pack of Umbra hounds, he moves to protect me, placing his body between mine and a lunging beast without a second thought. It is instinctual, the protective urge of a mate, but he immediately steps back once the threat is neutralized, his eyes asking for nothing, his posture respectful. He is trying, with every fiber of his being, to show me he has changed. And a part of me, a part I hate, is starting to believe him. We reach the clearing of the Moon Shrine. The corruption is worse here. The monolithic stones are weeping a black, viscous ooze, and the once shimmering pool is now dark and stagnant. The air is thick with the malevolent power that makes my skin crawl. And standing in the center of the clearing, by the edge of the tainted pool, is a figure cloaked in shadow. The last daughter of the moonlight, Lord Malachor hisses, his voice like the grinding of tombstones. The shadows around him coalesce, giving him form, a tall, gaunt man with skin the color of ash and eyes that burn like embers. I have been waiting for you, and you have brought the alpha of the broken lineage with you. How convenient. Malachor, I say, my voice steady, though my heart is pounding. The power emanating from him is immense, ancient, and hungry. Your blight ends here. He laughs, a dry, rattling sound. It ends when your bloodline is extinguished and the power of the moon is mine to command. You think your pet wolf can save you? Kalen lets out a low growl, his body shifting into a battle-ready stance. You will not touch her. Brave words, Malachor sneers. He raises a hand, and the ground itself seems to writhe. Umbra hounds, larger and more monstrous than any we have faced before, rise from the corrupted soil, their green eyes fixed on us. The battle is chaos. Kalen and his warriors engage the hounds, a whirlwind of fur and claws. I focus on Malachor, weaving shields of light to deflect his shadow magic, launching spears of moonlight at his dark form. He is powerful, more powerful than I anticipated. He meets my every attack with one of his own, his dark energy clashing against my light. You are strong, little matriarch, he hisses, parrying a blow that would have disintegrated a lesser being. But you fight alone. Your power is singular. It has no anchor. He is right. My power, while immense, is untethered. It lacks the grounding force of a completed bond, the dual strength of a mated pair. I am fighting with only half of my potential strength. Malachor sees his advantage. He unleashes a torrent of shadow energy, not at me, but at Kalen, who is busy tearing the throat out of a massive hound. Kalen is unprepared. The blast hits him square in the chest, sending him flying backward into one of the monolithic stones. He slumps to the ground, a dark, spreading stain on his tunic. No! The cry is ripped from my throat. My attention falters for a split second, my focus shifting to Kalen's still form. And that is all the time Malachor needs. He moves with impossible speed, appearing directly in front of me. He holds a blade forged of pure shadow, its edges swirling with dark energy. It radiates a cold that sinks deep into my bones. Your line dies now, he whispers, and thrusts the blade toward my heart. Time slows. I see the blade coming, but I cannot move fast enough to stop it. This is it. This is the end. I close my eyes, a silent apology to the ancestors whose legacy I have failed. But the killing blow never lands. A massive force slams into me, knocking me aside. I stumble and fall, my eyes flying open just in time to see Kalen, his face a mask of agony and determination, standing where I just stood. The shadow blade is buried deep in his chest, exactly where his heart should be. He does not cry out, he simply stands there, impaled, his body shielding mine. He looks at me, and his eyes, those frozen lakes, are filled with an infinite, heartbreaking love. He took the blow meant for me, without hesitation. Malachor laughs, a triumphant, ugly sound. A noble, foolish sacrifice. Kalen ignores him. He stumbles toward me, his movements clumsy, life already fading from him. He falls to his knees before me, for the second time. But this is not submission. This is his final act. He grips the hilt of the shadow blade, blood pouring from his mouth, and with a final, ragged breath, he bares his throat to me one last time. My life for yours, Ilara, he rasps, his voice a bare whisper. It was always yours. His eyes begin to glaze over. His life force is draining away, devoured by the shadow weapon. This is his grovel. Not words, not kneeling. An act of ultimate selfless sacrifice. He has proven his change. He has given his life to correct his first mistake, to protect the one he should have always protected. And now, I have a choice. I can let him die. Malachor will be weakened, and I can avenge him, then be free. Free of the bond, free of the pain, free of him. Or I can save him. But the only way to save him from a wound of this nature, a wound of pure shadow magic, is to counter it with the purest life magic I possess. I would have to fully accept the bond, to open my soul to him completely and pour my own life force, my own lunar magic, into him. It would bind us together, forever, our souls intertwined, his life becoming mine, and mine his. It would mean forgiving him, it would mean accepting him. The dormant power inside me, the voice of the first matriarch, surges forward, no longer a whisper but a clear, commanding thought. Ours. Protect. Heal. Make us whole. I look at his dying face, at the man who broke my world and then gave his life to save it. I see his flaws, his pride, his terrible mistake, but I also see his suffering, his regret, and the profound, unwavering love in his eyes. The fortress around my heart does not just open, it shatters into dust. I make my choice. No, I whisper, my voice thick with tears. Our life. I place my hands on his chest over the ghastly wound. I close my eyes and reach for the bond, not with anger or resentment, but with complete and total acceptance. I take the frayed, broken ends of that silver cord and I welcome them into the deepest part of my soul. I choose him, not because the fates decreed it, but because he has earned it, because my heart, in its deepest, most secret place, has always been his. The bond snaps into place, not with the agonizing shriek of its breaking, but with a triumphant, resonant chord that shakes the very foundations of the world. It is a tidal wave of light and power. My lunar magic, raw and untethered, finds its anchor in his alpha strength. His primal power, wild and tormented, finds its focus in my calm control. Silver light and living shadow, moon and wolf, we become one. A blinding column of pure white energy erupts from us, blasting Malachor backward. The light pours from my hands into Kalen's wound. It battles the shadow magic, burning it away, cauterizing the torn flesh and knitting it back together. I feel his life force, faint and flickering, suddenly surge as my own energy replenishes it. His heart, which had stopped, gives a powerful thud against my palms. His eyes fly open, no longer glazed, but clear and sharp, glowing with a faint silver light that mirrors my own. The wound is gone, leaving behind only a raw new scar over his heart. Our scar. He stares at me, his expression one of pure, unadulterated awe. He can feel it, the completed bond, the perfect, unbreakable connection between our souls. He lifts a hand, his fingers tracing the side of my face with a reverence that makes me tremble. Ilara, he breathes, and my name on his lips is no longer a source of pain, but a prayer. We have a battle to finish, I say, though my voice is shaky. I help him to his feet. We are both unsteady, drunk on the sheer power of our newly forged connection. I can feel his strength as if it is my own, and he can feel my magic flowing through his veins. We turn to face Malachor, who is staggering to his feet, his shadowy form flickering, wounded by the pure light of our bond's completion. He looks at us, at the silver light that now connects us, and for the first time, I see fear in his ember-like eyes. Impossible, he snarls. The bond was broken. You were wrong, Kalen says, his voice a low rumbling growl that is now laced with my own power. He steps forward, and he's no longer just a wolf alpha. He is the consort of the moon, a creature of both fury and light. A bond of fate can be broken, I say, stepping up to stand beside him, our shoulders brushing. A bond of choice is eternal. We move together, not as two separate fighters, but as a single, cohesive unit. He becomes my shield, his raw strength and speed, intercepting Malachor's physical attacks. I am his sword, launching devastating attacks of pure energy that Malachor can no longer fully parry. Our powers are magnified, our movements synchronized. Where my light cannot penetrate, his shadows find purchase. Where his claws cannot reach, my magic strikes. We are a perfect, deadly storm of light and dark. Malachor, the ancient evil, the blight upon the land, cannot stand against us. He is overwhelmed, his dark magic unraveling under the combined force of a completed fated pair. With a final joint attack, a blast of my purest moonlight channeled through Kalen's alpha command, we strike him down. He screams, a sound of pure despair, as his form dissolves, not into smoke, but into dust, scattered on the wind. As he vanishes, the corruption in the clearing recedes. The black ooze on the stones dries up and flakes away. The water in the moon pool clears, its surface once again shimmering with pure silver light. The remaining Umbra hounds, their master gone, dissolve into harmless shadows and fade away. The battle is over. The forest is clean. Kalen's warriors, who had finished off the last of the hounds, stare at us, their expressions a mixture of fear, relief, and utter reverence. They are looking at their king, but they are also looking at their new Luna, a woman of terrifying and beautiful power. Kalen turns to me, his eyes filled with an emotion so powerful it makes my knees weak. He does not speak. He does not need to. I can feel everything through the bond. His gratitude, his remorse, his undying, unconditional love. It flows into me, warm and healing, washing over the last of my own scars. I reach up and touch the new scar on his chest. He covers my hand with his own, his thumb stroking my knuckles. We have been to hell and back. We have been broken and remade. And we have finally found our way home to each other. The journey back to the Pack capital is a stark contrast to my exile. I do not walk behind, but beside him. The Pack warriors, once my tormentors, now bow their heads in deference as I pass. They smell it on me, on him. The undeniable scent of a completed, powerful mate bond. The scent of their Luna. When we arrive, Kalen does not take me to his private chambers. He leads me directly to the Great Hall, the very site of my humiliation. He calls for a full Pack assembly. Soon the hall is filled, just as it was 3 years ago. The same faces, the same elders, the same hopeful females who had once laughed at my pain. Now they watch in stunned silence. Kalen leads me to the dais, to the twin thrones at the head of the hall. He does not take his seat. Instead, he turns to face the Pack, his hand holding mine in a firm, possessive grip. 3 years ago, in this hall, I committed the greatest error of my life, he begins, his voice booming with an authority that commands absolute silence. Blinded by pride and fear, I rejected the gift the moon goddess gave me. I rejected my mate. A wave of gasps and murmurs ripples through the crowd. He lets them whisper, letting the weight of his confession sink in. I told you she was weak, wolfless, unworthy, he continues, his voice ringing with self-recrimination. I was the weak one. I was the unworthy one. I cast her out, and in doing so, I nearly doomed us all. The darkness that plagued our lands was an ancient enemy of her bloodline, an enemy I could not defeat. It was she, the woman I threw away, who saved us. She is Ilara, the last daughter of the lunar matriarchs, and her power is a light that this world has not seen in 1,000 years. He then does something that shocks the entire Pack to its core. He releases my hand, takes a step back, and drops to one knee before me. Here, in front of everyone, his warriors, his elders, his entire kingdom, the Alpha King kneels before me, not in submission this time, but in reverence. I publicly revoke my rejection, he declares, his eyes locked on mine, and I beg for your forgiveness, though I know I have not earned it. I was not a man worthy of you then. I will spend the rest of my life trying to be the man worthy of you now. He takes my hand and presses his lips to my knuckles. The pack does not just need a king, he says, his voice softer, but still carrying through the silent hall. It needs its Luna. It needs its matriarch. It needs you, Ilara. He gestures to the larger of the two thrones, his own. This has always been your seat. I was just keeping it warm. He offers me not the smaller Luna's throne, but his own, the Alpha's seat of power. He is not offering to make me his queen. He is offering to be my king. He is offering a partnership of true equals. Tears well in my eyes, but they are not tears of pain. They are tears of healing, of a circle finally being closed. I look out at the sea of faces, and I see not scorn, but awe. I look down at the man kneeling before me, the other half of my soul, and I see not a king, but my mate, my Kaelin. I place my free hand on his cheek. Get up, my king, I whisper for his ears only. We have a kingdom to rule together. Months later, we stand on the high balcony of the royal spire overlooking the capital. The moon is full and bright, bathing the world in a soft, silver light that feels like a blessing. A cool breeze carries the scent of the city, of wood smoke and baking bread, and beneath it all, the clean, earthy scent of our peaceful lands. Kaelin's arm is wrapped securely around my waist, his solid warmth a constant, reassuring presence at my side. I lean my head against his shoulder, my hand resting on his chest, directly over the scar his sacrifice earned him. He often touches it, a subconscious reminder of his failure and his redemption. I have my own invisible scars, but they no longer ache. They are just a part of our story, the deep grooves in the tapestry of our lives that make the brighter threads shine all the more brilliantly. It's quiet, I say, my voice a soft murmur in the peaceful night. It is, he agrees. His voice is a low rumble against my ear. Peace suits our people. It suits us. We have spent the last few months rebuilding, not just the parts of the kingdom damaged by Malakor's blight, but the very structure of our society. The old prejudices are being dismantled. The stories of the lunar matriarchs are being taught again. My presence, my power, has forced a change that was long overdue. Omegas are no longer nameless servants. They are valued members of the pack. Power is no longer just about the strength of your wolf, but the strength of your character. Kaelin has been my staunchest ally, my most fervent supporter. He has ceded power willingly, eagerly, creating a dual monarchy, the likes of which this world has never seen. His alpha strength and my lunar magic have brought a balance and prosperity to the dominion that it never knew under a single ruler. He dips his head, his nose brushing against my hair. He inhales deeply, a habit he will never break. The scent of me, of rain and wildflowers, is no longer a source of torment for him, but one of comfort. His scent of pine and winter frost is no longer a memory of pain for me, but the scent of home. Together, they have merged into something new, the unique fragrance of our completed bond. Are you happy, Ilara? He asks, his voice laced with a familiar vulnerability that he only ever shows to me. The fear that he is still not worthy, that my choice to save him was one of duty and not love, is a ghost he still battles on his darkest nights. I turn in his arms to face him, my hands coming up to cup his jaw. I look into his eyes, a reflection of the starry sky above, and I pour all the love and forgiveness in my soul through the bond between us, a silent wave of reassurance. I have you, I say softly, answering his unspoken fear. I have a name, I have a home, I have a purpose, and I have a love that survived the unthinkable. I rise on my toes and press a gentle kiss to his lips. I am more than happy, Kalen. I am whole. A slow smile spreads across his face, a true, genuine smile that reaches his eyes and erases the last of the shadows there. He leans in and captures my lips in a deeper kiss, one full of passion and promise and the quiet certainty of a lifetime together. The journey was agonizing. The scars are real, but standing here, wrapped in my mate's embrace, under the watchful eye of the moon, I know, with every fiber of my being, that we have earned this. We are scarred, yes, but we are finally, irrevocably whole.